Hello everybody once again. Today we are going to talk about projects in iSpring. There is no guide on how to organize projects when you launch iSpring for the first time, so we are going to fill this gap. This all may seem quite easy and straightforward because everything is automatic, but there are some general recommendations that we will cover today and that will help you in future. I have worked for iSpring tech support team, answering calls and emails, and the most embarrassing problem was when a client couldn't find quizzes or recorded audio narrations. Nobody wants to do the work again, and if people experience these issues, they start to get disappointed with product. The typical case usually sounds like, I had to share the project I've been working on with my colleagues, and I've lost my quizzes that I added to the presentation. I copied my presentation to my flash drive and don't have quizzes anymore when I publish. Of course, you don't have them because all your quizzes were left on your computer when you copied just the PowerPoint presentation without a project folder. And disasters like this wouldn't have happened if people had known how to manage iSpring projects. So, if you stick to the recommendations that I'm going to cover today, you will never have problems like this and you will easily find any course that you are working on. Okay, let's cover the main rules when working on presentations. So, the rule number one, use your computer's local storage to work on your courses, not network share or flash drive. Using external destinations may cause some read or write access problems. Please never use Microsoft OneDrive because it can accept only native MS Office files like PPTX or docx files. The rule number two, give your PowerPoint file a distinct name. iSpring will create a bunch of files when you work and save them to a project folder that has the same name as your original PowerPoints. The reason why this additional folder is created is that iSpring cannot save all the additional resources to the PPTX file because it's a Microsoft's property. But iSpring can associate a folder with a PowerPoint presentation and store all your belongings. By the way, many tools use similar project-oriented approach when you work, for example, on video with Adobe Premiere. It works for almost any other tool you can imagine. The main confusion with iSpring projects is that the main file here is your PowerPoint presentation that you usually don't associate with any project. And the last rule, rule number three, create a folder per project. When you just start working, this folder shouldn't contain other files rather than your PPTX file. If you don't do this, you will deal with a lot of folders that have similar names and you can accidentally delete the project folder. Okay guys, let's dive a bit deeper and create a home folder for iSpring projects and try to manage one. I will create a home folder for all projects in my Documents folder. You can select any other folder like a desktop or pictures, but Documents is more preferable. Okay, create a folder here called iSpring Projects. When you have a lot of projects, it's easier to separate them into their own subfolders. Here, I've created a subfolder for this course called Space Shuttle. As you can see, there is a project folder here with the same name as the PowerPoint file. These two should always be together And you should never manually modify the contents of this folder. And it's a good time to look at the tree structure of your home folder. Here you can see that each project has its own folder that contains a PowerPoint, project folder, and the published folder. We will cover it later. Guys, any questions so far? If you have them, please let us know in the chat box and I will do my best to help you.
There is one question from Mark. How can you identify the location of the project folder?
Actually, it is stored next to presentation. For example, if you saved your presentation to the documents, you will see a project folder with the same name in the same location. However, if you transfer your presentation, for example, to desktop, not in documents, then the connection between an original presentation and a project folder will be lost. So when you open your presentation once again and try publishing it, you will see an error message about there is no any quizzes. There are no any quizzes at all in your presentation. So you will be you will manage this once again. So you will have to add your quizzes to the presentation once again.
Okay, thank you. I think we can keep going at this point.
Thank you, Paulina. You can enhance any PowerPoint presentation like this one with extra e-learning content. Whenever you use any of these features like quiz, interaction, dialogue simulation, screen recording, etc. on the iSpring Suite 9 ribbon, they will add resources to the project folder, and let me show you how that works. So I will open the presentation called Space Shuttle at this point. Let's look at a side-by-side view of the project folder and PowerPoint. I'm going to add a quiz to the end of this course. I will scroll down to the bottom and add a new slide. And then I will insert a quiz from the iSpring toolbar. So iSpring Quizmaker will open up, and here we can create a new quiz or open a previous one. I will open my quiz. And after that, I will select Save and Return to Course on the main ribbon. A placeholder is inserted on the slide and the quiz is contained in the quiz subfolder. So let me open this folder. Here it is. You will never need to modify this file or rename it in Windows Explorer because it's managed automatically, as well as other files inside the project folder. So this placeholder doesn't contain the quiz as a part of presentation, so you cannot complete it within PowerPoint. This placeholder tells iSpring which quiz is located at the slide. To edit the quiz, simply select the slide containing the quiz and use the quiz button on the iSpring toolbar. If you need to delete a quiz, you can simply delete a slide with it. If you add a quiz to the slide that already contains some content, this may lead to the unpleasant issue. So when you delete a placeholder for a quiz, like this. So it doesn't detach the quiz from your project. So iSpring will still add a quiz to the slide when publishing. Basically, you can copy and paste the contents of the slide to a new one, as an example. If you record audio or video narrations, the files will appear here in the respective folders called, let me show you, Audio 2 and Video 2. Also, I have created an example so that you can know exactly what resources go where. So, one moment. Great. So, all the presentation resources, for example, XLSX files, StockX files, PDFs, will be added to the folder called Attachments. All the web objects will be added in the Web Object folder. If you created some audio or video narrations or changed something in the managed narration, all these files will be added to the Audio 2 and Video 2 folders. If you created a quiz or many quizzes, they will be added to the Quiz folder. Interactions to the Interactions folder. Dialogue simulations to the Scenarios folders. Screen recordings to the Video Projects folder. And the last one is Slide Properties. For example, if you added a logo or a picture of a presenter, they will be added to the folder called Playlists. If you want to extract something from your project, like an individual audio narration file or a quiz, this will be a useful guide for you. So let me point out that a background music, this one, is not a component of managed narrations anymore. It is a part of slide properties with more functionality. You can create playlists and tell which slides should play which one of them. Hope I didn't tire you out, guys. And do you have any questions? I will be happy to answer all of them right now.
So there is a question from Ahmed. When we publish, will the have a copy or will it be only available in our folder? Is that clear?
Can you please repeat once again? I had lags on my side, Paulina.
Sure. When we publish, will that let you at iSpring to have a copy or would it be only available in our folder?
Basically, your course will be available only in your folder. Actually, a presentation will be separate from your project folder, and in the project folder, you will see all your quizzes, interactions, dialogue simulations, etc. If you want to create a backup, actually, I will cover this topic later. You can use the export feature. So on the iSpring ribbon. And also,
And I also wanted to add that we here at iSpring won't have your presentation. It will be on your computer.
yeah.
And yeah, do you see another question?
I think yes.
So I'm not sure if it's from Daniel or Mary. I want to ask how to collaborate with people who don't have iSpring.
It depends on Uh, can you please tell me in more details uh, with which people you want to collaborate? For example, they will be your users that uh, who have to pass your quizzes or courses, or you want to share your projects with them so that they can view it on their side.
So basically, from what I assume, if you don't need other people to make changes to those courses, Sonia, Sophia, so if, for example, his team members don't have to make changes to these courses, will they still be able to view the presentation?
Sure. For example, if you publish to the from the web tab, they will be able to open your presentation by clicking on index.html file. And after that, a browser will be opened and they will be able to see all your course or presentation, doesn't matter. You can also upload this course as a SCORM package to your LMS, and your users will be able to complete this course in your LMS, or you also can upload to your website, to the blog, to iSpring Cloud, etc.
Does the expert feature count as one of the solutions? Because Luis is asking to show the example, and then Josie is saying subject matter experts that assist with the creation of training. If they do not have iSpring, can I send them the PowerPoint to look at? So I think that you will be covering this in a
Uh-huh.
moment, right?
Right. So basically, they can open the presentation, an original presentation PDX. However,
Mm-hmm.
they won't be able to see any quizzes, any interactions, because they were made. They have been made with iSpring. So if they don't have this program installed on their computers, they won't be able to see this content. Only
But
some
if
slides.
but if they launch HTML
Yes.
index file.
Yes, then in this case, they will be able to see that. However, if they want to edit this file or to edit some quizzes, they cannot do that.
Okay, so to sum up, if they need to edit this file, they will need iSpring. In any other cases, they'll be able to view the presentation,
Right.
the course. Okay, let's keep going, and please pay more detailed attention to the sharing feature you're going to cover next.
Okay, so I can continue now. Can't
Yes, thank
I?
you.
Thank
Mhm.
you very much, Paulina. Okay, if you want to make a backup of this entire project or share it with a colleague, use the export feature. So you should go to File, then share iSprints with project, then export project, and here you should choose a name and location and put everything in a single zip package if you like. It will store all the files. You can do the same thing from the Windows Explorer by zipping the PPT and the associated folder. If you open it on any other computer, it will work just fine. You can use the export feature that is nearly available when collaborating on projects with your team. Now let's publish this course to see how the output folder looks. By default, it will be published to the same project folder. After you click Publish, iSpring will automatically create an output folder. If you choose the Web tab, it will be labeled as published, as you can see on the screen. Afterwards, you can open this folder and see the files, so let me show you. This index.html5 file is a web page containing your course. This should also be kept together like your PPTX file and project folder. By the way, The published iSpring presentation or course is nothing more than a web page. It's created using HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and use web fonts as well as any website in the internet. By publishing to a local folder, you will end up having an offline version of the web page that represents your course. Answering to one of the most popular questions of newcomers to iSpring, can I convert back to PowerPoint? I'm afraid that not. After publishing, these files cannot be edited or converted back to PowerPoint format. It is a one-way journey. So again, if you want to share this course with a colleague, you can zip it and email. Also, I recommend that you keep your projects on your computer even after publishing, because if you need to do changes to a course or select another color of the player, you will need to publish it again. If your main local storage space is running out, please export your projects and move them to an external drive where they can remain forever. The other point here is that the internet is changing and new iSpring versions are coming out with new features and better publishing results. For example, people who used the early versions of iSpring that had PPT to Flash only are now able to open their old projects created with the most recent iSpring and publish to HTML5 with all mobile-friendly options, including adaptive player. So this is called backward compatibility, when you can open projects created with earlier versions of the software using the updated version of the same software. All iSpring products are designed and developed with this idea in mind. How are you doing, guys? Any questions so far?
Can you see the question from Colleen? Is there a limit on the number of slides or amount of narration on one presentation? I have found that if I exceed 400 slides, each with iSpring narration, that the narration starts to get glitchy and narrations won't save.
Basically, we always recommend our users that they do not create presentations or do not create audio narrations or video narrations more than 2 GB, because it can be they can be glitchy, or then they can be converted with some issues. So it's better to not get this limits of 2 GB.
Thank you. I guess
Maybe,
that answers the question.
sorry, Paulina.
That's fine, go ahead.
Uh, I just wanted to add maybe 2 or 3 gigabytes maximum.
You don't quite remember? Or that's the recommendation?
Yes, this is a recommendation.
Thank you. And another question from Ahmed, and then I think we can keep going. What if we need to post on Moodle? Can't we use SCORM to publish our project and let students use it and answer the questions without having iSpring?
Yes, if you have your own accounts in the Moodle LMS, then you can easily create SCORM files, for example, SCORM packages, for example, SCORM 1.2 or SCORM 2004, as far as I remember. Basically, you can go to our website and see the compatibility with iSpring. So, iSpring Moodle. Sorry. Uh-huh. Okay, and you will see this page with the standard of iSpring content and level of support. So uh, you can publish Squirm 1.2 packages, Squirm 2004, and AICC2. And your users do not need to install iSpring on their computers because they will see all the content in their accounts in Moodle LMS.
Thank you, Sophia. And the last question from Orlando. I think we should go back to the one of the limitations of 2 to 3 gigabytes. Is that including video?
Yes, audio and video, or video lecture with audio. I mean that.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, can I continue?
Yep, let's continue and then see what we have for Q&A session.
Thank you very much. Although it's super important to avoid changing the project folder's contents and keep it in the same parent folder as your PPTX file, and sometimes people accidentally do this. So your project can lose the connection with the recorded audio files, quizzes, and other materials that you created if you perform any of these actions. For example, if you delete the project folder, usually done unintentionally, so breaks the link. If you change or rename files inside the project folder, it breaks the internal structure. If you rename the PPTX presentation or its project folder, so again breaks the link. And the last recommendation is that if you separate your presentation and the project folder by moving either one of these components to a different location, breaks the link. And if you perform any of these actions, the PowerPoint presentation will open and show normally. However, if you try to publish it with iSpring, you will have missing audio and quiz resources or other error messages. And there are some troubleshooting steps on how to restore your project data. There is always a chance that you can find or restore the lost data. Now that you know the structure and the project folder, you can easily know what to enter in the search field. First, open the default iSpring project location and look for the folder with the name of your presentation. For example, in my case, this is Space Shuttle. Then, you can use Windows Explorer search. You should hold Windows logo key and E on your keyboard. Then enter your presentation's name to find the project folder on your computer. Also, you can open the recycle bin on your computer and do the same search. You can also search your computer for folders named Quiz or Audio2. Every project folder has these folders, so you may get many results. And the last step, you can search your computer for files with the quiz extension. This search will give you a list of all editable quizzes on your computer. Okay, now let's talk about automatic backups. Experienced users know that the best way not to get into these troubles is to do automatic backups. Basically, there are plenty of different solutions that will automate the backup routine for the whole system or selected folders that store the important projects you work on. So, paid backup software, Acronis True Image, Crash Plan. and built-in backup options, Windows 10 file history, and if you have a Mac computer, you must have heard of Time Machine. Using backup solutions will prevent data loss, and it's priceless in terms of keeping your work safe. The key concept to take away from this webinar is that your project consists of the PowerPoint file and an automatically created project folder, so keep them right next to each other with the same names. Then, you should never modify files directly in this folder. Then, always use iSpring functions to add and delete content. The items in the output folder are also inseparable and should always be kept together and never modified. I think that's all. Thank you for your attention, guys.
All right, so we're ready for the Q&A.
Right.
Okay, so let's start with a question from Katie right away. Thank you, this is very helpful. Are there notes on this presentation, or is this information written somewhere so that I can share this content with my team? So let me see really quickly. As far as I remember, we do have a similar article on our website. And maybe while I'm doing this, Sophia, you can take care
Yes.
of the
Yeah.
next question
Yeah, sure.
from Josie.
iSpring manage content and managing content. Learn how to manage. And lost quizzes. iSpring. I think I found them. So in the first article called Managing Projects in iSpring, you will see topics like what is a project, folder, then how it looks, and then you will see a tree structure from a presentation.
So basically everything, I mean, almost everything you've covered, right?
Right. However,
Would you mind sharing the link in the chat box, please, with the
Sure,
audience?
sure. One moment, please. And the last one is called Troubleshooting Problems with Project Files. So you will see all the solutions in this article on how to find your lost files. For example, quizzes or audio and video narrations and other project files.
Okay, you shared this one too. So guys, you will find all the links in the chat box. And Josie is saying we store our completed projects on a team drive, but do the initial creation on our own computers. If I move the entire folder with all iSpring contents to the same location, will they still work?
I recommend that you export your presentation first. So in order to not lose some files, so if you're using iSpring Suite 9, then it's better to do these steps. So go to File, Share iSpring Suite Project, Export Project, then select a file name and location where you are going to publish or to export a presentation. Then mark the Create Zip package and click on Export. In this case, you will be sure that your files won't be lost. As for your suggestion, I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not sure that your file will be will be safe.
At this point, I'd like to ask Anna if you have anything else to add on this question. Anna? Okay, she's probably busy with the other. I think I see that she's typing right now the answers. Okay, so let's move on and then get back to this question. To the next one from Siganya. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Is there any restriction on sharing file formats?
I think that there are no any restrictions on sharing files. Basically, please make sure that you do not have any administrator restrictions or you have administrator rights. And also, please keep in mind that antiviruses or a firewall can block your files, for example, zip archives, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Okay. One moment, please.
Can I go back to the to the question, to the previous question?
Sure.
Uh-huh. Basically, you can also make second option, do the second option. For example, if you select your project folder and presentation, and after that you will zip it, so zip these files. In this case, you will be able to transfer this archive wherever you want. So basically, there are two main steps, two main options: to export your presentation to a specific location, or to zip your presentation and project folder. And after that, you can forward or transfer this archive wherever you want.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. And I would also like to ask a question from Allison. Is there a document with steps on how to upload this type of file to an LMS? And she has Navex LMS, Navex.
One moment.
It's not in the list of our supported LMSs yet, I guess, but maybe there is like a general document with the guidelines on how to upload iSpring to an LMS.
Basically, we have an article about how to create scoring packages with
Mm-hmm.
the LMS tab. And let me just quickly find it.
Mm-hmm.
iSpring publishing files to LMS. Uh-huh. Here it is. So let me share with you this link.
Mm-hmm.
Also, can you please repeat the name of LMS, Polina?
Yes, it's I actually just tested it. VEX.
VEX. Yeah. However, you can send us a request to support at iSpringSolutions.com so that my colleague can test your LMS and tell you about the outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's been testing. He's always testing LMSs. And sorry. I just wanted to say, do you remember how many? I think 130 are already in this list or something like that. That number keeps growing.
I'm I don't know. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's from what I remember. So it's over 100 LMSs already tested on the compatibility with iSpring because we do not want to limit our users and make them use our own iSpring Learn LMS.
Exactly.
Because sometimes, yeah, sometimes that happens that people want to get the full toolbox with all different authoring tools, but they already have an LMS, so we have to be compatible. Yeah, so Josie says that Navex uses SCORM files, so it should function as long as published in a SCORM format.
Also, Chelsea, you
Thanks,
can
Josie.
go to the go to this web page called Support Elements. Let me quickly share a link with you. And you will see a section called Didn't Find Your LMS. And if you click on the button called Test Out My LMS, you can
Yeah,
enter,
just fill out the form.
yes, fill out the form and send us a request to support at iSpringSolutions.com.
Yeah, so Allison, if you would like to get a detailed article on that, you're more than welcome to perform the steps. Okay, so do you guys have any other questions? Because at this point, we are starting to wrap up, and I would like to invite you to our next webinar that will be held next week. It's going to be dedicated to how to quickly launch online training with iSpring. And so yeah, this webinar is good for, in my opinion, for everybody. If you're just starting working with iSpring or you're like seasoned professional, you will find something new for yourself. And also, the week after next week, we are going to have a webinar dedicated to the session that our client Mike Sarantola performed last week in Las Vegas at the DevLearn conference. It was super popular and actually got a lot of questions from the audience answered. And guys, you will find the schedule for this webinars on our official website. And let me share the link with you. Just a moment, please. So first of all, you will be able to sign up for our webinars there and also sign up to our mailing so that you're always keeping up to date with what's going on with our live sessions. Okay, so, okay, right. At this point, we don't have any other questions coming, and Anna has answered all the other ones that we didn't have time to take care of with Sophia during Q&A. So yeah, I would like to thank everyone for coming today, for watching this webinar session. We hope you guys found it useful. And I would like to thank our presenter, Sophia, for doing this wonderful job and making it really short and sweet, because this type of info is really important, but people don't really think of it. It's not that obvious, right, Sophia?
Exactly. So thank you very much, Polina, for organizing this webinar. And also thank you, Anna, for taking care of all these questions. And also thank you, guys, for joining us today, for your comments, for your feedback, for all the questions. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, guys, thank you for being so active and asking these wonderful questions. And yeah, for your comments, of course. All right, so I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and we'll see you at the next webinar. Bye, everyone. Bye, Sophia. Bye, Anna.
Goodbye. Have a wonderful day.